Hey, boys and girls, how's everyone doing this evening? I want to start off with story time. Um, I fell off my path and got pretty lost. And as I started finding my way back, I wanted to find my Bibles because I was going to read them. And I have had three Bibles that I really enjoyed reading. And I looked all over the place. Now, keep in mind, we'd moved three times. And during this process, like I said, I got pretty lost. And if you'd like to hear that story or know more about that or things, leave a comment or just follow along, and more will come out over time, I'm sure. But during the process of this moving and stuff, I thought I had these Bibles with me the entire time. Um, I enjoyed them. I enjoyed reading them. Anyways, my wife found something, and she one morning. Now, granted, I was looking for a week straight through our house, and we've lived here 3+ years, and we still had boxes that weren't unpacked. Go figure. Has that ever happened to you? If it has, leave me a comment. But anyways, ta-da! One of my Bibles. So I thought. But as I seen the box one morning where my wife had found, it was empty. So at this point in time, I was frustrated, and I thought it was time to go ahead and buy me a Bible. Now, I have 4 children, and I like to be cautious with my money, wise with it. So I started looking at, you know, different Bibles, and I like a large print Bible. I always have, or at least maybe not always, but in recent years. I'm not a spring chicken. So I started looking all over the place and came across, I think it's Christian Book or whatever, and they had Bibles that have imperfectly imprinted things. So I wanted to get one of, well, yeah, one of 3 different versions of the Bible. I had 3 different versions that I enjoyed reading and comparing against each other. And as you've seen on the other one, one's an NLT. So I found this one on, I think it's christianbook.com or whatever. The printing was off. They don't show you a picture of it, but they just tell you that it's misprinted. And I wanted a flawed Bible, so to speak. I to me, if I have something really nice and pretty and spectacular, I don't want to use it. I don't want it to get hurt or damaged or destroyed. So I'm thinking that would be great. Well, this Bible here, I can't remember how much it was, but it was not that much. Um, I'd have to look at the receipt, but it was definitely less than $30. And I'd went to, I can't say local bookstore. It's quite a little ways away. I happened to be in the area Christian bookstore, and so many of the Bibles were 70, 80, 90 plus dollars. And it's like, man, they've went up in price a lot. And this one was below $30. I'm thinking it was like $20 or something like that. And it's like, man, it's a large print. It's a fairly what they call personal size. But since I've been out of touch for, let's say, a decade, wandering a lost path, I didn't know what personal size was. And I wasn't going to drive, the few hours back to the Christian bookstore and just try to figure out what size I wanted and then all of that stuff. So I ordered this Bible, and it is a large print, 12 point. So, real nice, thing, a real nice print and stuff. The pages are a little thin, but nothing horrible. It is I think they call it a giant print. Yeah, giant print NLT personal size Bible. And it's fantastic. So when I found that for so cheap, I kept looking, because I'd almost made up my mind that my budget was probably going to be around $50 to $100 for one Bible. So I'm thinking, man, what else is there? And I came across another NLT giant print. But this one is the genuine leather one. I was like, wow. And it was like $50. So I'm thinking that's a pretty good deal. I'm okay with that. And again, I'm okay with it having, some imperfections. I'm not perfect. I also was thinking, with 4 daughters and a lovely wife that's stuck with me all these wonderful years, that hopefully either one, I can have one in my office and one at my nightstand. Thought that's a pretty good idea. They're the same Bible, same pages, or at least I thought they were. This one happens to be indexed, which, I mean, I'm not a fan. I'm I'm okay with indexing, but not a huge fan with it for a particular reason. I can show you that here in a second. But I also had the hopes that maybe one of my daughters or my wife would want to gravitate to one of these Bibles and sit down and read with me. And let's just cut straight to the chase. Amazingly, yes. It was about a week of me reading and trying to build my faith because, you know, being lost and coming back is a challenge. And I want to make some videos about that. But it's one of those things that I I don't believe in preaching by mouth, at least to start with. When I was going through to right before I started Bible college, yeah, I'm one of those. I was talking to a pastor, and this pastor, great man, Pastor Dave, just he married my wife and I, he baptized my wife and I was struggling on, you know, approaching or sharing my faith. And he looked at me and he goes, you know, the best piece of advice I can give you is when all else fails, when you try to reach somebody and you've done everything you can and just nothing seems to work, at that point in time, try talking to them. And it took me a little while to understand that live your life dedicated to God and strive to that blameless status. Strive for a righteous lifestyle. And in doing so, that is your strongest ministry. Don't take this the wrong way. Yes, we should share our faith. But I tell you, if you are living your strongest ministry, you will be ministering to people and they will come up to you, and then you get to share your faith because they're listening. They are no longer swine, and the pearls of wisdom that God has shared with you, you then get to share with somebody else. So anyways, I grabbed this Bible. At first, I want to go ahead and get back to that and talk about this. One, I didn't know how the fake leather was going to be on these, feel wise and things like that. And, being a cheaper Bible, we've been using this a little bit. I'm not overly ecstatic about it. You can see this is ripping out. But then again, I want this used and I want it read to the point of falling apart. And if I can pick up one of these every year for $20 and my daughter reads through it, or I read through it, or we have a devotional once a week or every day, that's $20 very, very well spent. And this is kind of slick because I like to, grab my Bible and hold it in my hand and stuff. So I had hopes some dust on that, that this would, fit nice. And now it does. At first, this seemed to be a little stiff, a little slick, but as you can see, it's starting to wear in and stuff. But now it fits, holds very comfortably, and I enjoy it. But straight out of the box, it needed some break-in time. This one is constructed better. This here, it says genuine leather, but it's a paste down, which I'm not proficient or very knowledgeable in Bible construction. I, as everyone else did, went to YouTube and watched 1,000 videos and trying to figure out what Bible I did find, and I found or what Bible I did want. But after so long, you got to stop watching videos. You just got to get to work, get things going. I think this may be a vinyl, just the way it acts, which I'm okay with that. I would prefer that versus a paper one. So I think the construction's a little bit better there and everything. And reading through, it's been good. The gilding on the side, I'm not a fan. Are you a fan of the gilding? And what I mean is, how it's gold or red or whatever and stuff. Is there a reason for that? Do you know if there's a reason for that other than looks? I mean, does it protect the edge of the paper? Does it keep it from, rolling or something like that? Then I could understand it. And one of the reasons I'm not a fan is it's like every page was stuck together. Not as much in this one, but the green one, the more cost effective one, definitely was. Did I say how much the price was? So the price on this was like $50. The other one I think was around 20, and I think to the door total was $80 for these two Bibles. But it's a blessing. The NLT translation. I'm not gonna be a translation guy. I am 100%, about trying to understand. And the NLT, I will probably do a separate video of why I really like the NLT Bible. And if you like the NLT Bible, let me know in the comments. If you don't like it, hey, share why you don't like it. I understand it's considered a thought for thought, but still, I think it's very good. Also, these both are the words of Jesus in red. I like that. I know some people don't. I've noticed that there's a lot of options now to where you don't have to have they have it in all black print too. So it seems like, they're producing a lot of different Bibles to kind of meet the needs of things. Another thing I like about these is I'm not overloaded with a lot of cross references and footnotes and stuff like that. This is the Filament edition, which both of these are, which has the app that comes with it. That's a neat thing. Didn't know that existed the way it does. That's cool. So if I do want to dig in, there's resources there available for it. And like I said, those are pretty small, out of the way. It keeps everything's clean. I'm also not a huge margin guy. I but I don't do many notes in a Bible. It's something I don't write much at all, never really have. So I'm not huge on that myself. So to me, I think wide margins are a waste of space. Why do I want to carry around something bigger and larger that just has emptiness to it? But there are some nice little notes in these, and or I shouldn't say notes, but like maps and uh, things like that, some other information, which is nice to have. Having things on paper, I think a lot of people have lost things since so much is on the internet and YouTube and things like that. That being able to pick up a paper version of something and feel it and have it in your hand gives a more intimate relationship. It's something that we don't have. It's something that we constantly seek, hence why we need the intimate relationship with Jesus Christ. And I think the Bible helps relate to that. I really do, or a paper version Bible, because there's that YouVersion or YouVersion Bible that you can download to your phone. Fantastic. Has every translation that you would like. Some I didn't know existed, and I'll talk to about one that I found that came out in the time that I was wandering out in the wilderness that I really like. So let's get to some of the things I don't like um, on these. If I would have paid full retail for this Bible, I think it was supposed to be like $95 or something like that. I would have been a little, I don't know if I'd been happy. At 50 bucks, I think this is a fair Bible. If you kind of look down in here, if you can, let's see if I can get this to focus where I want it to. There's some like little ruffling out from this, I can't think of what that cloth is called there. It looks sloppy. It looks like it's possibly coming apart. I'm sure there's some glue in it. Also, let me see if I can find if this one's the one that's, no, this one's not separating. The other one is separating a little when you open it up in these outside spots. Again, this I'm pretty sure I got for less than $20, which I'm not too worried about that it's peeling apart. Yeah, here you go. So you can see, and I showed it, or I don't know if you can see or not, but see how it's separating out there and stuff. I'm not a fan of that. Um, Also, the paste down has like some little extra pockets and stuff. This isn't going to be a lifelong Bible, but I knew that to start with, and I'm okay with that, or I should be, so I shouldn't be complaining now. But it is something to, consider. But if you can find one that has a stamp in it, you're not worried about it, and all you want to do is just read it until you wear it out, well, I guess you get to replace this Bible sooner than the other. And going back to this one here, why I don't like indexing is these little edges here are so easy to get ruffled. Just how this here sticks just a little bit. That being that much smaller and stuff, it seems like those always just get ruffled or bent a little bit or something like that. It's not the end of the world. You can straighten them out for who knows however long. But it's just one of those things like, it has extra places that just catch and can be a little ugly. Anything that would bother you? Maybe, maybe not. Um, but it is there, especially when you get into the smaller books. These spaces are a little thinner here and stuff. But that's my little story on the Giant Print NLT Personal Size Bible. Don't expect any unboxings from me or anything like that. One, I get way too excited and I want to check things out. So um, I'm not that guy that does unboxings. I do want to try to show what I think is a good value. And I think both of these for $80 was a good value. I appreciate you taking the time to watch. I appreciate any comments and feedback and likes and stuff like that. So if you have any questions, please leave them below. Thank you much and have a blessed day.